Alright, what's up guys? We are back with another Path of Exile video here, and I finally hit level 90 on my Firestorm Meteor Hierophant build that I've been playing this league, the Affliction League. So I'm going to do a respec, and then we're going to do the Eternal Lab, because I still need to do that. So basically what I've been doing is I've accumulated a few jewels, cluster jewels, and with the intent to do a respec at level 90. So I'll just kind of go ahead and show you what the jewels are here, and it should give me a pretty big power spike. I think the damage will be roughly the same as what it is currently, but I should get a huge boost to survivability, and so I think that it's definitely going to be worth it. So essentially what I'm looking at doing is speccing out of these here and this, and then I should be able to take advantage of all of these jewels here. So first off, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, really appreciate it. Helps me out. Just hit 1,000 subs a little bit ago, and so now we're going to go for 2,000. So do appreciate everyone that has subscribed. This is what the build is looking like currently. So I'm not 100% sure how many points I'll have left once I do the respec. So I'm looking at specking out of here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points, 8, 9, 10 points. Potentially I can redo this path here and get 4 points back. I could go here. I do need to pick up one basic jewel slot, so most likely I would pick that up there. Or I could go here for 2 points, which I may need to do this because I may need the 10 strength, possibly, just to maintain what I have as far as like jewel gems and gear goes. So I haven't fully like thought this through. I should have enough points though that like I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I was also looking at, you know, if necessary I can spec out of this. I may spec out of it anyways. I don't think the Divine Shield, I've been kind of paying attention or monitoring it like in some maps, so I can take a look at my defensive shield here, or sheet, and when I'm taking physical damage, I'll get another stat, it'll pop in that'll say energy regeneration per second, and that is just solely from the Divine Shield. The highest I've seen it go is like 100, which is, you know, not terrible, but you know, it's only, that's at like the highest I've seen it, and that's again only if I'm taking damage. So it's like the physical damage that is blocked. So usually it's only really getting that high when I'm getting attacked by a lot of weak, you know, trash mobs repeatedly, and then maybe some, like when I get a big boss hit, it doesn't really do that much. And I think that so basically like what some of these, let's see if this, yeah, so what some of these keystones are going to do, I guess that doesn't actually tell me what the keystones do, but rot resistant, that gives me life regen, and it also gives me chaos resistance. And let's see, this one was Mystical Ward, I believe. A couple of these give me like spell leech and life leech, so I'll have energy shield and life leech from spell damage, as well as energy shield regen per second. So that should give me quite a bit more survivability, and then I should end up with basically the same offensive and defensive stats. This will give me, the main reason I got this is it's going to give me 10% cast speed because it's a fire skill and I'm using a staff. And then it's also going to give me immunity to corrupted blood. And then the reduced ignite duration is going to also increase my survivability. One thing I did want to touch on that I haven't really shown or hit in any of the previous build guide videos that I've made for this was the what I was using here for defensive options for the Pantheon. So previously I had the Soul of the Brine King just that I'd been leveling with, and I kind of realized it was pretty much redundant because having Energy Shield gives you a 50% chance to avoid stuns anyways. And then I also have these two right here that gives me 40% chance to ignore stuns while I'm casting. So a 40% chance to ignore while I'm casting plus a 50% chance from having Energy Shield. The Soul of the Brine King just seemed kind of unnecessary. And again, that's only going to stop you from being stunned like every 2 seconds. So you can, if you take a stunning hit, then you just won't get stunned again for the next 2 seconds. And looking at other defensive options, I think this will be good when I start doing some in-game bosses. I just haven't captured all the souls yet. But this is a pretty significant boost to the survivability. Especially when I captured Captain Claiborne, that 6% reduced elemental damage if you've been hit recently, and then 10% chance to avoid projectiles is pretty huge, plus the just extra damage reduction for nearby enemies as well as move speed. I also got this, so between that and this corrupted jewel, that's going to give me basically a 94% reduced duration of ignite, and then I'm also immune to burning ground, which I was noticing, especially in Delve. Really, the two main things that have killed me is either from ignite preventing my energy shield from recharging, and then and same thing with burning ground, and then also corrupted blood. So with steel skin, I already have immunity to bleeding, so I'll have immunity to corrupted blood, and then more or less immunity to ignite with that huge reduced duration of ignite. So I think that should really boost the survivability. And we're gonna go ahead and do this respec here. One reason I do it this way is just if I'm going to do a respec, I want to do it one time or as infrequently as possible, and then if the build is already working and I'm clearing the content with out much difficulty, I don't really want to potentially risk like breaking the build by doing a respec. So we're gonna go ahead and start here and here. So then I'll have 11 points to work with, and I think that plus potentially these 2 points here should be enough to get everything I need for the cluster jewels. One other thing I had been looking at doing is if I do spec out of these, I would need to either pick this up or go through here. And so I'd been thinking about going through here, just because having, jewels this late in the game, most basic jewels, you can get good basic jewels, are going to be a lot stronger than most anything else you can pick up. It's going to be a 2-point investment really no matter where I go. So either if I pick this up, that's 2 points, or if over here, it would be 2 points to pick that up and 2 points to pick this up. If I spec out of this, I would either need to go here. This does nothing for me, so I would probably, if I was going to get this, just get the 3 here to complete this. But I don't want to spec too much out of life, because I do take, with this build, and I've covered it previously, so I'm not going to go too much in depth on it. With the Incandescent Heart, 25% of the elemental damage I do take is chaos damage. So I pretty consistently tap into the life pool. So I don't want to lose too much life, and then just if I take a really big, I mean, it'd have to be a pretty significant elemental hit. It may be enough to one-shot me no matter what, but I don't want to lose too much life and then risk dying from something like that. But I do currently have capped chaos resist, so I should still have max chaos resist once I am done with this. You know, granted, I did my math correctly. So we need to start with this large jewel, and let me look at how I'm gonna do this here. So we definitely want prismatic heart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I do need. I think I needed all of these to get the chaos resist I wanted. 2, 3. So we're gonna go ahead and pick those up so that we can get our 2 other jewels here. So yeah, we can finally see. So this gives me 10% elemental resist, 30% damage. This is the life leech from spell damage. This is the energy shield leech. And then these stats are just gonna give me, make sure I can equip all of my gear. So I probably am, at least right now, gonna definitely need to spec out of these 2 to get everything I need up here. The main thing I want to do is make sure I have max chaos resist. And what I do have right now is on this amulet, the cleanse thoughts, which what that does is that doubles my chaos resist, and it works a little bit differently than how you might think. So if you have a negative chaos resist and you equip that, it's not going to double the chaos resist from your gear and make that positive. It's going to actually double it further into the negative. So when I first equipped that, it was a bit of a problem, and I had to quickly, you know, up my chaos resist to get it positive so that it would be doubled in the right direction. So let me get this and see. Okay, so that recaps my chaos resist, so that's good. So we don't need to get all of these minor nodes, but we definitely want that, and we definitely want this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need 5 more points. So I can get 2 of them here, and 1, 2. Let me look at my elemental resists, because that was one reason why I had not spec'd out of this yet, was that it was going to put me into a negative resist. I am a little concerned how much max life I would lose from that. And then I also want to make sure I have a basic jewel slot. So that would give me 1, 2, 3, 4 points. And I would have to basically put 3 here in order to do that. So that's only going to net me 1 more point, which would give me 2. So I could get this. But I also need to get this. just to make sure. So we may need to take a look. And I really didn't want to have to... I was really hoping I could equip this now. But now I am not sure. I may have to just temporarily put 1 point here and then spec out of these 4. So that would give me 4 points. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Would not quite give me that. But I think the life leech is probably slightly less important than the energy shield leech. But I did really want to pick that up. Possibly... I wonder, it may... You know, I like these nodes, but do I absolutely need these nodes? It's like 20 increased area of effect, 20 increased area damage. You know, I'm starting to wonder if it might be a little more efficient to spec out of these here. Potentially. I'm kind of thinking either, I mean, I think I need... I mean, I think those new nodes are too efficient really to spec out of them. So if I put that there, then I could also spec out of that. That's not a huge gain, but if I complete this, and I could spec out of these, I'm just not sure how much life I would lose from that. I don't think it would be too much. I think it might be like, when I did the math the other day, it was going to be like 200 or 300. So let me go ahead and spec out of these here. Kind of forgot about that. So that gives me enough to pick this up. And I forgot to look at what my damage was before. It looks roughly the same. I can always double check from one of the previous videos, but I do remember it. I think it's basically the same. I mean, I lost. Let's do quick math here. So I lost, I believe it would be 50. Yeah, we spec'd out of 50 elemental damage, and we picked up 30, 40, 50. So right now, yeah, we picked up 50 plus 12, so we're at 62. That would put us at 72, and then 97. So definitely an increase in damage. Plus these couple nodes here. So I think we are in a definitely much stronger position. And really the only other thing I would like to do is to get this equipped, which I could spec out. I believe I would still have, yeah, I would still have max resists. If I were to spec out of these 1, 2, 3, 4 points, I could go 1, 2, 3, pick up this jewel, and I'd have 1 extra point, which would put me closer to picking up Doriani's lesson. And I wonder if there's anywhere else I can pick up 1 point. Yeah, I'm starting to question if this is worth it or if I'm going to get more bang for my buck somewhere else. So if I were to... I am kind of interested in picking up these, just because it is more life and energy shield. I'm just not sure. This is tough. Like, is 300 life? I don't know if the 300 life is worth it. I don't know if these AoE... I mean, I like having massive AoE. So I definitely... We'll go ahead and we'll run, because I could always wait and pick these up when I level up. I just thought that would really be huge. Getting this will be huge for the survivability, but if I take too much life out, that's also going to be a little bit painful. One other thing I was looking at doing is I'm contemplating, is it going to be more beneficial to spec out of these 3 mana and life regen nodes and pick up the armor and max energy shield nodes there. So we'll go ahead and we'll run with this. And we will go ahead and we will do the Eternal Lab. I definitely should be more than powerful enough. So another thing this should allow me to do now is I should be able to level up this added cold damage. And that's also going to increase the DPS a little bit more. So let me grab one of these fragments. I do have an improved tribute, which I will probably use in the near future. Definitely, like I really want to equip that. Do I want to spec out of this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And then I could spec out of this, and I could pick that up. I think it's worth it. I really think it's worth it. I may have to use a couple orbs of regret to like spec out to complete this chain, so that I can then spec refund those. It gets really tough when you're at this point in the game where you're really trying to like min-max, and I do want to make a build. Since I haven't played in such a long time, like cluster jewels are quote unquote new to me, but I'm starting to contemplate like creating a character. I feel like it's definitely not something you could do as a league starter, but once you've accumulated a decent amount of currency, like I feel like you could make just a very, very strong character by getting a couple of cluster node, like 2 or 3 cluster nodes, and then just getting like the cluster jewels. Like for me, since I have so few points to work with, I didn't want to get a cluster jewel that had like 12. I had to specifically get 8, and then one that had 2, because I just couldn't afford that many points. But if it was a new character and I just basically take the most efficient things on the tree to the cluster jewel areas, and then you can get like some really strong nodes. I mean, that as a minor node is huge. I mean, like if you can pick up minor nodes with 3 stats, um, and then just get some of these huge like build specific, um, you know, notable passives, I think I could make just a really really strong build. And so that's something I'm kind of interested in doing, looking at doing in the future. One other note I'm kind of looking at is getting the staff mastery with the 30% increased defenses, because that would give me 30% to energy shield and armor. I think that's going to be really efficient for 1 point. Still looking at possibly picking this stuff up, but I just don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have the points. And this is, I really think I need this though. I mean, like my damage will go up. I think being immune to corrupted blood is worth more than a couple hundred HP at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's gonna pain me to do this, but I think it's the right thing to do. So let me go ahead and use a couple orbs of regret. So I need 1. And then I think I can spec out of this 2 now. So I think I just need to use 2. Oh, that's right. I would have to go through here to spec out of that. Yep, that's right. I kind of forgot about that. I was thinking I had this a complete chain. So do I want to so I could go 1, 2, 1, 2, or I could go 1, 2, 3, spec out. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. So this, and now I can spec out of this because I don't need that. So yeah, I only lost like 300 health. I think that's a net positive for sure. Now I can pop that in there. So, yep, definitely a significant increase to the overall power. And now we can go boom, boom. And, yep, definitely pretty significant overall increase. So I'll have 10 points, as I continue leveling, left to work with. And I mean, I could pick those back up. I don't know if it's worth it though. I think the next thing I do is I pick up a couple more jewel sockets, and I just look for some strong jewels, because I can spend 4 points and get 2 very strong, get another 2 really strong basic jewels. I think that's the right move. As I continue to level up, maybe I put 1 point into the 30% increased defenses, because I don't really have much increased armor at all. So that should give me at least, I'm gonna say it's gonna give me at least 1,000, 2,000 increased armor, because I think I have next to nothing. Like this is really the only. Yeah, so these are the only nodes I believe that I have giving me increased armor. So We will go ahead and hop into the Eternal Lab now, because we've got the build basically set up how it needs to be set up now. So we should still have, yep, we still have capped, all capped resists. We are now immune to corrupted blood. We've got increased cast speed. Yep, definitely can feel that. And then we've got, what is my energy shield recharge? Energy shield regeneration per second is 66. I thought it would be a little bit higher than that. Still not terrible. I mean, I think that plus like the leech. Really, the leech I think is going to be the main increase in the survivability. Does it give me that stat? Miscellaneous. So maximum recovery. So I can recover 314 energy shield per second. So 10% a second. That's, I think, pretty solid. But yeah, this should be pretty much a walk in the park. Oh, don't want to just face tank everything. But yeah, now the two things that really were a threat to me are not really a threat anymore. Those two things being the corrupted blood and all right, that's definitely gonna be a nice addition. Let's see, we got another one here. All right. But yeah, the corrupted blood, the ignite, those were the two main threats to me. So now that, you know, those are going to be significantly less of a problem. Corrupted blood is now 0 problem, and then ignite is going to be significantly less of an issue. My DPS went up by quite a bit. I think we were starting out at around 260. Now we're up to 313. So we've gone up in DPS and survivability. So I, definitely happy with how that respec went. I think we're definitely going to be able to make this build significantly stronger. I'm hoping to start taking on some in-game bosses here before too long. Alright, this is kind of annoying. Hopefully there are some good craft options. I believe the Eternal Lab is supposed to give me 4 options. And I've been leveling some gems specifically. Oh, I don't have the silver key. Oh wait, that gives me the silver key. I thought I needed the silver key to open the chest. But yeah, I should. I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I'm gonna try and start taking on some in-game bosses before too long. I've got red maps. I think now that I've done this respec, I should be ready for the red maps. Really, the main thing that I am wanting to do is just to continue to increase my my total life pool. And granted, this is higher than normal, just because I've got this buff from the labyrinth. But if I can increase my total life pool, that will do several things. It will increase the leech. Yeah, it's going to increase the leech. It will increase just how big of a hit I can take without getting one shot. Because really, the only thing that's going to kill me, I think, at this point is if I get one shot. Because I can really take quite a lot of just DPS, like straight DPS. I can just tank. I can out heal it. I was able to out regen it pretty easily before, especially with this flask combination here. This flask, I found it, but if you are looking at playing this build, I would say it's almost essential, and I would purchase it. I don't think that they cost that much. But it gives you just huge damage increase and survivability increase. So all your life, you get Zealot's Oath, so you start to just get a lot of regen to your ES, and then your potions apply to your ES as well. So it's just huge increase to the survivability. Like, there's really, like, chaos damage is nothing to me. Elemental damage, I don't have a problem tanking that. Physical damage, for the most part, is not an issue. It's like the damage just has to be really, really high before it becomes a problem. And of course, physical damage is going to be where those damage spikes come from for this build, just because if it like overwhelms your armor, there's not, like, I don't have a ton of armor. I have a decent amount. I have like 6.5k, which isn't terrible for like a caster, basically like an energy shield caster. But there are still, like, if I get crit for a lot of damage, that can be a problem, especially on maps. Like, really the only times I die on this build, because I also have basically like a third of attacks and spells I can block. So really the only thing that kills me is if it's like 100% plus extra damage as an element, physical damage as an element, and then I get crit. That can kill me. That and Corrupted Blood and Ignite were really the only things that were killing me. And now Corrupted Blood and Ignite are not a problem anymore. And then I've got this just massive amount of Leech that I have. You know, I might consider like looking at jewels, like if there's a jewel I can pick up that increases my Leech, that might be worth it. If I can work that into the build. Oh my goodness. Alright, we got 2 silver keys. Just need to find some silver doors now. Really? Sometimes those ghosts don't really drop anything if you just kill them before they possess something. Which you'd think it would be more rewarding, because like it does take a decent amount of damage to kill them before they possess something. Or before they just disappear. So I would kind of prefer like that to be, you know, a nicer reward. Really? Is this just like a dead end? Oh. I forget. Oh, I forgot to spec back into that. Ah, dang it. I was thinking that I did end up with like 1 more point than I thought I was going to. That's okay. It's making me think that maybe I need that even less. Like I could potentially spec out of those. Alright, we're going to the silver cache here. But yeah, the only other thing that really kills me is like the league mechanic. If I get a lot of the blue things, like the blue, oh my gosh. Playing a tanky build makes me play so like sloppy, because I just don't worry about it. The league mechanic, if I get too much of the blue like orbs or whatever they're called from the wildwood, and that just like gets kind of crazy, in some of those maps with the additional damage as like an element, and you get crit, that can be painful. Because it just increases the crit multiplier by so much. So you take like a huge physical hit, and then I take like all that elemental damage, 25% of it is chaos. Sometimes that does one-shot me. This league mechanic, you know, at first I thought it was pretty cool, but it just gives way too much damage reduction to the mobs, which I don't necessarily have an issue with per se, because I kind of, you know, prefer the monsters to be a little bit stronger, but the game is not balanced around that. And so the issue I run into is that when you are trying to do other content, it more or less prevents you from completing it how it's intended to be completed. So like if you're doing an alpha mission, unless you just have like, I mean, like I can 1 to 3 shot most like normal rare enemies, even some unique enemies, like I can just basically insta-kill. But once they get that damage reduction buff on them, it's a completely different story. So you have, you know, an alpha mission, and you can't kill any of the like damage resistant mobs fast enough to actually complete like trying to kill one of the architects with the damage buff is a problem. Oh my gosh. Like, you can't kill most of the architects within the time limit if they've got the damage buff. So that's basically made me, you know, I was using alpha missions as like a league starter last league, to kind of farm currency and farm maps, because it's just a lot of like monsters at, you know, the monster level you're looking for. So you could just get a ton of maps from that. So it was great for like map sustain. And I tried to do that starting out this league, and it just did not work. Dark influences reside in dark places. I do not know what that did. Be twice blessed. Yeah, I'm not sure what that did. So yeah, instead I've kind of this time I'm opting for Nico. So Nico is nice because you don't have to deal with the league mechanic, preventing you from completing his master missions, and you also are able to farm his missions without dealing with the league mechanic, which is kind of refreshing in my opinion. Not having to deal with like ridiculously tanky mobs, and like I've pretty much, you know, I've thought almost about picking up like reduced damage from crits, just so I can more reliably, once I hit level 100 and like I'm not worried about, like I don't really think I'm gonna have to worry too much about dying anymore, but like I still could get one shot, and just losing that much experience at this level is very frustrating because it takes such a long time to actually like get that much experience. Like because I don't have like a huge pool of just like high level maps that I can just run, and I don't have like an unlimited amount of time either. So I do, want to level efficiently, and dying, sometimes you can lose like half a day's worth of progress from just like stupid blue empowered mobs, like getting ridiculous crit chance and crit multiplier on like an already rippy map that has 150 100 to 200% extra damage as an element. So like one crit and you're done off of like a tough, like off of a yellow mob that is like got any somewhat dangerous modifiers on it. One crit and you're very likely just dead. So I had been thinking about putting some points into just reduce damage from crits. Just to more reliably farm that. Once I hit 100 though, it's like dying, I feel like, is not that big of a deal in softcore. There's not really anything left to lose other than, like, if you're managing your inventory properly, dying is just basically like a free town portal in some ways. Oh, that's going backwards. Don't have a golden key. Yep, the definitely not. All right, I guess I have to get the golden key. The lab is not really my favorite thing to do, to be quite honest. It's a little better, in my opinion, than it was. I do like the changes that they made this patch, with adding the empowered gems and removing like the helm enchant aspect of the divine font. I think there's already so much RNG in Path of Exile that it's like, oh crap. The divine font was just like so much more RNG, and then there was just some enchants where it's just like the obvious choice for every build. So like needlessly farming lab over and over, hoping to get the enchant that you want, or just spending a lot of currency to buy an already enchanted item, just didn't really do it for me. Now it definitely seems much more like beneficial to do it, instead of just hoping that the RNG would smile down upon you and give you what you were hoping for. I think it's definitely more beneficial to run the lab now. Because you can really, like, you can actually incrementally power up your character by running the lab, either through getting XP from gems or putting XP onto gems. You can like redeem the gems for character experience. You can put quality on your gems. It's just seems like, you know, I've got several level 20 gems that if I have the option to cash them in for like character experience, I'm going to do that. And now I can just put gems in there and level them up without really having to worry about, oh, is this the most efficient gem to level to try and sell later on? It's, you know, now I'm just like, hey, I just want to level this gem so that I can potentially redeem it for XP. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess since I'm already here, I may as well see what is up here, if there's anything of value. No, there is not. As far as what I'm going to pick up here, I think really the most beneficial thing is the Arcane Blessing. I mean, Arcane Surge grants 20% more spell damage. And so basically I have 100% uptime on Arcane Surge, because anytime I hit something with a spell, I will gain Arcane Surge. And then I'll have 20% more spell damage, so that's going to be another just massive boost to the spell damage. I think for my current setup, this is probably more beneficial than this. Really all this would give me is like spell damage leech and 30% AoE. I don't think it's anywhere near as valuable as all the damage and defensive survivability that I get from the permanent power and endurance charges that I have. So yeah, I'm seriously considering, you know, is it worth it to spec out of those? Potentially even these 10, 20. So it'd be 30% reduced AoE, or, you know, not 30%, not as much. And then 10, 30. So 30 AoE and 30 damage. Plus, if I were to add this, it'd be 40 AoE, 50 damage. I mean, like, I think the AoE is already massive. Alright, I'm gonna go for the silver cache because I've got the key. Like, it would just be silly not to. Because this is the Eternal Lab. Like, the rewards are, you know, for the most part, worth it. Oh. So I guess that doesn't count as being immune to burning ground. Uh-oh. Like, the main threat of the skeletons here is just actually like blocking you. Oh. So it's just important to kind of, like, if you can kill their spawners, go ahead and kill their spawners. Just because really the only thing to worry about from them is if they somehow block you and the burning floor kills you. Is that a contract? Yeah. Yeah, if you're still watching the video, you know, let me know down in the comments, like, how does this compare to your build or builds you've played in the past? I mean, I feel like it's definitely getting strong, very, I think fairly strong. Like, it's got quite a bit of tankiness, it's got quite a bit of damage. I still am just playing on a 4-link. That's going to be probably one of the next things I look at doing, is getting a 6-link, which I think I'm just about to the point where I can do that. All these switches too. They probably just reroute the those things. All right, treasure key. I'll take that. And just need to go back over there, kill Izaria one more time. And then we will be cooking with some grease, doing 20% more damage. I forget all the other things Arcane Surge does. I think it gives you like additional mana regen. Does this, I forget, does this tell me? %, cast speed, 30, okay. So that's going to be a ton of damage, 10 cast speed and 20% more spell damage. That is going to be crazy. I'm going to be, yeah, we should, like, I will just be melting bosses at that point. I don't think I have any more silver keys. Nope, no more silver keys. Silver key, yeah, the cash. Yeah, I don't have any more silver keys. Just got a treasure key. So I think the entrance is going to be up here in the center. All right, there we go.
An aspirant can afford to be promising. An emperor must keep those promises.
All right. Need to make sure I'm standing somewhere that I won't get gimped by the traps. Oh, oh, oh. Monkey balls. Chill out, Azaro. It's so disorienting sometimes. Dying breath. Can't remember if that's worth anything. Okay. Alright, well, let's go take a look here. Whoa. Got 2 more. Alright. Maps. And some currency. Okay. Just dumping everything into here for now. And I will deal with it later. What is this crafting option we got? This is a Facetor's lens. Ooh, 10% quality to a gem. Damn. Okay, okay. 30% of a gem's total experience is a Facetor's lens. I just need to double check what that is. Okay. So it lets me store the gem experience to apply to another gem. Okay, I see. I don't know if 30% is worth it. It looks like it can range from 20 to 60, so I'd say 30 is not that great. I think definitely 10% quality is the way to go. I've been leveling, you know, on the 1 or 2 craft options I've had, I've done spell echo because that does give you increased spell damage. I've been leveling a couple other gems. Had some quality gems that I was leveling. So that gives me, that just increases it by 10%. That increases the lightning damage. I just had found quality versions of these abilities. So yeah, I think definitely adding 10% quality to spell echo here is probably the way to go. Or I could increase the AoE of Firestorm, but that, yeah, I think that's the way to go. Add 10% quality. 3 crafts remaining. I thought I got 4. Alright. Add 8% quality to a gem. Let's go. Let's see, what is this guy messaging me about? Okay, hopefully he'll be patient. Do I want to waste 1% quality and get this to 20%? Is that the way to go, or do we throw 8% quality on something else and not waste any of the quality? Transform a skill gem to be a random. Transform a non-transfigured to be a. Transform a non-transfigured skill gem to be a random transfigured version. Oh, so that gives you a little bit more control over, you know, the gem will stay the same and it'll just transform into one of the possible transfigured versions. Add 50 million experience to a gem. That need 50 million be too much. I mean, maybe on this one. I mean, I'm just gonna do quality. I'm just gonna get that to 20 quality. And sacrifice a gem for currency items. Or add 8% quality to a gem. I think I'm gonna sacrifice a gem. I'm kind of curious how that works. You grab one of these. Base level. Oh no, not base level, gem level. So what have I leveled up that I just don't? Arcane Cloak. Summon Reaper. Does the level matter? Sacrifice a gem for currency items. Molten Shell. Arcane Cloak. Do I want to level, get rid of one of these? Oh man, it's giving me a lot of tough choices. I don't know if the gym level matters. Alright, I'm just gonna sacrifice Molten Shell, level 20. Not sure if that was worth it, but whatever. Boom, boom. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. That's going to be the video. Hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. And remember to give them the D.